Hello, everybody. Mandy and I were doing our own little countdown as we wait for the little spinny wheel to say that we are recording. Um, because we're recording. We're going to be recording this live. And this is Mandy. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mandy, but you are not involved. Like you have not. This is like that herd where I'm the one watching everything and you're the one going, "Hey, what's going on?" And I'm
Yes,
like, "What the fuckery?" I'm sorry,
yes.
YouTube. I'm sorry. Warning, warning. The language will come out of my face a lot with this today. So and we're covering, um, the Karen retrial and the Proctor testimony among some
Yes,
other
and
stuff.
much
Yeah.
like other trials, not just I've heard, but a lot of trials where I'm like getting the catch up
Uh
kind
huh.
of little nuggets in what news I do actually allow to make it into my bubble. But I'm almost never watching trials. So yeah, it's all you.
I get sucked into these things and then I can't stop watching them. And then with this, so I'm going to do my little disclaimer before we run the intro because I feel as more and more folks are joining us for this. This is a good reminder. I've not seen any of the outside stuff with this trial. I don't want to. There've been a couple of hearings that I've watched outside of the presence of the jury with in regards to evidence coming into trial in and of itself. Other than that, um, I'm just focused on what's going on in trial. And with that, we have a presumption of innocence in this country. And that presumption of innocence stays with you until the prosecution proves beyond a reasonable doubt that you are no longer that you have committed a crime. Hannah Gutierrez is a perfect example of a trial where I walked into that and I was thinking one thing, and I wasn't sure the prosecution really had gotten there, and then they did, and then they got there, and then it was up to the defense to poke all the holes in it, and they didn't poke the holes at all. So, we are assuming that Karen Reed is innocent, not because we know anything about what's going on outside the trial, but because so far that's the presumption you walk into court with, and the prosecution has not in any way proven beyond a reasonable doubt that she's the one that committed this crime. The other part of this, because I've seen this discourse online, is the cover up thing and what have you. The defense doesn't actually have to prove that. That's not a thing that has to be proven. They can say it. We can believe it. We can not believe it. But it has nothing to do. They aren't trying to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this was some cover up of some kind. So I just want to put that out there. I will say that so far, if anybody is proving their theory of the case, it's the defense. And we are not in the defense's case in chief yet. We're just not. So that's a problem. So that is my disclaimer on that one. Sorry for the rant. I had to get that out there because yeah, it's important. It's important to remember that they have to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt, and if they can't, they can't, and you have to go with acquittal. Um, um, got anything to add, Miss Mandy, on that one? I kind of got right up there on my soapbox and just ran. Sorry.
Yeah, it was perfectly timed because I was experiencing technical issues. So I have
Oh,
no doubt that you have covered it sufficiently. Yeah.
okay. And with that, I'm gonna get snarky. I'm gonna get spicy. I'm gonna say things because I don't understand what the fuck is happening in this trial. I've lost
just
the thread.
just from the little sparks and bits I've heard, it sounds like it's gotten really wacky. And it's not like it started out unwacky, but it has gotten really wacky from what I can tell. So
Yeah.
it'd be fun.
So I have my gin and tonic tonight because it's skeeter season. So I gotta have the tonic to keep the skeeters away from me. And it's time to run the intro. Yes, time to run the intro, and then we'll get into it. Hello and welcome to The Unfiltered Tea, a show where we say all the things you wish the newscasters said, unscripted and unfiltered. We talk about news, politics, and entertainment, so pull up your soapbox, pour yourself a cuppa, and let's go. Let's go. Every time I could be pulling up video while the intro is running.
But our intro is so pretty. You can't help yourself but just watch it and enjoy it.
This is true.
It's our moment of zen.
It is our moment of zen. It absolutely is. That one. Share. Okay, so where we are going to start, we are starting yesterday, day 22,000,004. No, I'm sorry.
Right? This does just continue going. I mean, I
almost put lamb chop in the thumbnail because this feels like the trial that never ends. Goes on, my friend. I mean, if you
somebody started prosecuting.
Oh, hi. For all those memes, how old are you? We're lamb chop old. Kids, we are lamb chop old. Join us as we join the trial that never ends. Where are we starting? We are starting with Trooper B, who is a very unfortunate nickname. If you were watching the earlier sections of the trial, I'm sure you caught his unfortunate nickname. I will not be repeating it. That's one of those things that I am naive enough that somebody says don't Google it. I won't. Because I know better. Because one too many times I did Google it and regretted my choices. So I did not Google it. But he is Trooper B. He was involved in a whole lot of this case and evidence collection, and his name. Oh, sorry guys, I just knocked I have new toys like mics and stuff, and I didn't get there. So this is part of his cross-examination. Where did we leave off with this cross-examination? I think yes. Yuri Buchanan, Trooper B. My brain is buffering. So when the prosecution first presented this evidence of the car in the salad port, it was a mirrored image. It was an inverted image. And they sort of said out loud that it was an inverted image, but not really. They didn't call any attention to it. So everybody's thinking that they're looking at the car on the opposite side of where they're actually looking, and it's a problematic way to do things. Oh wait, hang on. I'm going to better. I think that's better. I might have to move us again, but I think that's better for right now.
Yeah, I like that.
So let's start. We should have all the volume there. If I hit the play button like for realsies now.
I do.
All right, Mr. Jackson.
So when we left off on Thursday, we were discussing the Sally Port video that was introduced by the Commonwealth on Wednesday during direct examination. Do you recall that?
I do.
When he introduced that video, Mr. Lally asked you several very specific questions about the video, including if you recognize the video in general, correct?
Yes, he did.
And you said you did.
I did.
He also asked you whether you recognized any individuals in the video at a particular time where he paused the video and you used your green laser pointer to point out a couple of individuals that you recognize. Do you recall that?
I do.
And in that pause, You indicated at that time on Wednesday that you recognized Trooper Proctor and what you thought was yourself, the person slipping at the front of the SUV, correct?
I indicated that Trooper Proctor and myself were in the video, and there was an individual slipping in the front of the vehicle.
And you then on Thursday, you corrected that to make sure that we were clear about it. The person slipping was actually the tow driver, not you, correct?
That's what it appeared, so yes.
Okay. I'd like to take a quick look at that with the court's permission at 4:46. May I publish that?
Yes.
This is 4:46. It's the same video that you were shown by Mr. Lally. We're at runtime about 5:37 and 05 p.m. I'm sorry, I said runtime. I meant time of day. Thank you. As a matter of fact, the
Just got a little ahead of himself. So this is
time of day would be most easily seen right down here, although it's pretty small from where you're at. If you can't see that, please let me know.
I do not see that, no.
Okay. Your Honor, I'll hold off on that question, and I may ask the court for relief in just a moment. If we can play this for just a quick second, and I'll ask you, Mr. Bates, if you can pause it. Go ahead and pause there. Okay. Sergeant, this is the basic video, the point at which it was paused when Mr. Lally asked you to identify the individuals in the video, correct?
I believe it was a different time, but I'm not sure.
Do you remember using your green laser pointer, pointing at the person in the back and identifying that person as Trooper Proctor, and then pointing at the person in the front screen right?
Hold up, Jackson, because this is all well and good, but I don't need you yammering while we take a look at the mirrored video here. So this is the driver's side, not the passenger side. But it's confusing. And what we have the day before, which I didn't pull up on this one, there's a lot of snow in here. This is supposedly right after they brought the car in, but there's a lot of snow. So I have questions about that. Nobody answered those questions. There's a lot of snow. So now I'm going to hop ahead to some more with this video, but it's actually going to be, I think I'm going to skip the stipulation on the video. Basically, one of the things that does happen in here is that the attorneys agree that the video itself is like 5 minutes long, but it covers a 15-minute span of time.
Ah, interesting.
Uh-huh. So that's a thing, that it covers a significant span of time that just isn't there. And now I'm going to jump to the inversion of the inversion, which is a whole weird set of...
Yes, I have many questions about the inversion. I also, if we are going to talk about this in a minute, then just tell me to shut up. But if the video covers 15 minutes, then that means it's been edited prior to this is not raw footage that's been submitted.
According to the prosecution in the testimony, because it is motion activated, it stopped recording at certain points.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have many more questions about that, because this wasn't handed over by an expert. Yeah. No, we don't need that part of the courtroom. Hang on. Zoom.
Okay.
Zoom.
The last item that was marked right Your Honor, as a matter of housekeeping, I would ask for the admission of the last item that was marked for identification.
XX. Was it YY? Oh, it was back again. Okay. All right. So that will now be what?
I'm sorry. I'm 12, and the exhibits being XX and YY. Sorry.
Madam
Yep.
Reporter. Thank you.
And with the court's permission, I'd ask to display that video of yours.
Okay.
Bates, if you could move that to a runtime of 1 minute and 17 seconds, so thereabouts.
See the snow?
And go ahead and pause that. Sergeant, do you recognize what's depicted in what's just been marked as Exhibit 542?
I do.
How do you recognize that?
It's an inversion of the video provided from Canton PD Sally Port.
is actually, and that inversion corrects the perspective. Would you agree with that?
I would.
Okay, so now we're looking at what we've always been looking at, but it's clear that we're looking at the driver's side of the vehicle, correct?
That's correct.
And everything is properly oriented, is that right?
It's an accurate depiction of what is taking place.
Meaning right is right and left is left in this video.
The vehicle came from the right into the left. The driver's side is visible and is closest to the camera.
If we could go ahead and, thank you, Sergeant. If we could go ahead and play this for just a few seconds, please.
Sir,
That's not how it looked before.
stop fighting. They all fight with Jackson, and sometimes it's warranted, but every single one of them
You
fights.
saw the person that was toward the back of the vehicle that you earlier on Wednesday identified as Trooper Proctor moving toward the right, I'm sorry, yes, the passenger side taillight area in this video, correct?
I observed the person walking that way.
Let's go ahead and play it.
I still have questions about all the snow in there.
Awesome. And you see the person toward the taillight area moving out of frame just now, correct?
I did, yes.
And that person had that black portfolio in his hand.
That's correct.
I'd like to ask Mr. Bates if you wouldn't mind moving the cursor back to the beginning before the video, I'm sorry, before the SUV was actually in the Sally port. We can pause that. Do you see what's depicted in the video now at runtime, at the beginning of the video?
I see the still frame. I'm observing the still frame.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Can you see from where you are, sir, can you see the chyron at the bottom of the video in blue, indicating the date stamp and time stamp?
No.
You see that from where you are?
The answer is no.
I see the blue color. I don't know what exactly it is.
No.
Are your eyes good enough to see that that is completely inverted?
They are not.
They're not inverted?
They are not good enough.
That was a good answer to a bad question on my part.
Sorry, I
With
should back
permission,
that up. I was
Would it be
being
possible
sick
for
and I
the
was
sergeant to approach the screen and take a look at that timestamp?
Can you do that, Sergeant, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, it didn't back up. That's all right. He has to go look because I can't read the timestamp and I've got it on a computer screen here.
No, yeah.
Were you able to, may I inquire? Yes. Were you able to see that timestamp?
Yes, it was.
Sergeant, did that timestamp appear to be inverted?
Blue writing appears to be backwards.
So in this version of the video, which has been inverted from the version shown by the Commonwealth, the timestamp also was inverted, correct?
What appears on the screen is inverted.
Thank you. I'd like to zoom in on, just with the court's permission, on a portion of the middle of the video.
Okay.
I'll let him do this part.
Sergeant, I want to direct your attention to an area of the video right above the hand truck. Do you see that area?
I do.
You see that white object just above the snow line?
I see something there. I do not know what it is, if it's an object or it's more snow.
Can you tell if that's a sort of dirty white rag?
I cannot tell what it is.
Fair enough. Thank you, Mr. Fish. We can take that down.
I was gonna say, don't try that, Lally, because hang on, and there and begin. Okay, I got it. I'm gonna skip ahead in a minute. So what Jackson was trying to point out in that particular moment is in the images of the bags of the red Solo cups holding bloody snow that were in the Stop and Shop bag, because somehow that made sense.
Because that's how you collect evidence.
Just like the person who did the DNA swabs just took like 2 and swabbed in various places on the shirt and only swabbed one of the Solo cups, because The
Yeah, it sounds
investigation.
like there was significant diligence here.
I, it's like Mr. Bean handled this investigation on the front end. It's Mr. Bean level, which is possibly unfair to Mr. Bean. I'm not gonna
I was
lie.
gonna say, I feel like Mr. Bean would at least have been able to explain what he did.
Yes, there would have been a reason he did what he did, not just like that. It made sense to us at the time. Yeah. So, and everybody was real mad when the prosecution tried to pass off the mirrored video as being accurate and making sense and just being like, well, I mean, but it's flipped. So everything you're seeing is reversed. Because that's so easy for so many people to just do in their head.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, and particularly that first image, I mean, that really does. It looks like you're looking at the passenger side of the vehicle. Everything takes on a completely different context.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you don't clearly state that regularly, I don't know how you expect people to be following along.
Yeah, it was shady. It came across as shady. If I'm sitting on the jury, it came across as, oh, you tried to pull one over on me?
Yeah.
Huh. What else do you got? And what else they got is Proctor. So, let's see. My first note. You're gonna laugh at this, Mandy. Oh, I need to swoop. I need to swoop before we get into Proctor. Sorry, guys. Swoopity doop. Okay. Buckle up. Buckle up. We're going to Canton. We live here now. Grab your beverage.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
But yeah, buckle up, Buttercup, because this is this. My brain is still hurting from everything I witnessed. I do have everything on 1.25 speed because otherwise we will never get through this in time. But my very first note with Trooper Proctor is blah blah meetings. Because when he first gets on the stand and everything, we don't really need that. Give me a minute, guys. Let me pull up my timestamps. Do I have my timestamps? We don't. We're gonna skip that. We're gonna skip that. We're gonna go here.
Next witness, please.
No,
Yeah, Sean.
don't. Well, we can. I'll zoom. I will have him get on the stand and then we can zoom here. There we go. All right. No. Recording live is like streaming and it's dynamic and my camera has forgotten I exist. So that's okay.
Yes, you've gone a bit fuzzy.
I've gone a bit fuzzy around the edges. My camera's like, you do not need to be associated with this. No, my bunny fell. Everything fell.
Disaster.
Well, cheers. Well, while everything is doing that and the camera is starting to think about embiggen, Aurora, embiggen. You know this by now. Do this. So while I'm trying to get the camera to focus, ladies and gentlemen, this lovely little bunny is who I'm looking at when I'm talking to you.
That's how she keeps a smile on her face.
Yes. Come on. Oh, whatever. It'll probably remember me by the time it counts. Until then, it's just going to be fuzzy facial expressions because my camera can't find me. Camera. All right. Nobody needs to see that. I'm going to Ensmollen and try to keep messing with it. And
I like that.
I watch way too much Runkle and Emily D. Baker, especially with this trial, because I need Emily D. Baker's live reactions and then Runkle's What did I just witness in the recaps? It's delightful. So, all right. Trooper Proctor, I'm going to try to unfuzzy myself while we listen to, while we get your little intro here.
All right, Mr. Lally, your next witness, please.
Yes, Your Honor, the Commonwealth call Trooper Michael Proctor to the stand.
Almost has me. Not quite.
Welcome, officers down there. Do you mind please step up? I'm going to set your face in.
And yes, I do have
Come on, Your Honor. Come on, jurors.
Oh, I didn't catch that he said good morning, jurors, as he got through.
All right, Mr. Lally, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Would you please state your name and spell your last name for the jury?
Trooper Michael Proctor, Proctor.
And how are you employed, sir?
I am currently assigned to the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office in the Homicide Unit within the Massachusetts State Police.
And how long have
Trooper, I'm going to ask you to keep your voice up loud, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And sir, if you want, that might
The reason she's asking him to keep his voice up loud is because if the jurors can't hear, then they have to turn off the air conditioning. And it's summer in New England, and this is a 200-year-old courtroom. So judge gets real cranky if you have to turn off the AC, because she's not only in her regular work clothes, which are uncomfy to begin with, I'm sure, but she's also in a robe over that. Oh yeah, don't make her do that. No.
Robes are
That's
not.
super
Robes are hot, but not hot. They're
right, exactly.
hot.
All right, we are. Where did? Sometimes I write notes to myself that I don't understand.
Oh yeah, no, it's like the secret place that you put things. Oh, I'll put it here. It'll be safe here. It's so safe there that you don't remember where that safe place was that you put it. It's the same thing with I'll know what that note means later. No.
Yeah, no. I thought we were going to cover more, but then again, how many times Lally is where you going? Nowhere. That's Lally. If you don't get that reference, you need to watch Boondock Saints more, or just look up the clip because it's delightful. Or I'll play it for you again by the time we get done with this case. All right, this isn't quite where we want to start with, but I want to go over how many times he went to Fairview, because this is weird to me in a police investigation that you just drop in. And then we will get to the text messages. Mandy, I'm saying this out loud. I'm going to want to swoop before we get to the text messages because, yeah.
And where was he dropping into?
34 Fairview, where the victim was found.
Thank you.
Yes.
as far as that's concerned. Prior to that date of February 3rd, 2022, had you been to 34 Fairview Road at any point in time in the course of your investigation?
No.
So, John O'Keefe was killed somewhere between the 28th and the 29th of January. So February 3rd is a few days after that. Just for our timeline.
So that morning of February 3rd, that's the first time that you went?
Correct.
Now, with respect to, is that, how many times did you go to the area of 34 Fairview Road over the course of the next sort of days and weeks in regard to potential recovery of items?
So February 3rd, I retrieved items on the 8th, the 11th, and 18th, and was out there on the 10th with Sergeant Mechanic as well.
Now, as far as any of those occasions that you just described, that you went to the area of 34 Fairview Road, on any of those occasions, were you by yourself?
No.
And with respect to those other occasions, what type of people, who was with you? I know you've mentioned on the 3rd, but beyond the 3rd, those other occasions that you described, who was with you?
On the 18th, I believe it was Trooper Chico, based on the handwriting on the evidence bag, kind of recognized his handwriting. And the other 2 dates, I don't recall who was out there with me.
Now, with respect to items that were located, starting with the third, do you recall specifically what, if any, items were located on the third?
We've located a black drinking straw, consistent with the one seen in the waterfall video of Mr. O'Keefe walking out of the bar holding the glass.
Hey, Mandy, pop quiz. It's 3 days, 4 days later. Can you tell any basic cocktail straw? Can you tell for sure that came from, a bar? Like, or
no, and I mean,
looking at it in the street?
a black cocktail straw. There are like zillions of those everywhere, all the time. So I don't know why. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what the weather was between the date the crime occurred and.
Oh, it was definitely a blizzard the day it occurred.
Sure.
We had established that beyond a reasonable doubt. It was snow. We have video evidence. We have 50 plus witnesses who have all testified to the snow.
Gotcha. So, in the snow, cocktail straw stands no chance of ever being found anywhere near where it was dropped ever again in its life. But then if there is more snow after that, which is what I don't know, but like if it continued to snow, or I don't know if the snow was dealt with in any way, if the snow melted and ran in different, that seems really weird, really weird.
The snow melted and then it rained. And
that cocktail straw became like an Olympic luge vehicle for ants. That's what would happen.
And this is one of the reasons why we love having Mandy here.
My official statement. I'm sticking with it.
Good stuff. Okay. So on that note, we can't do better than that. He was there. It basically took, while Mandy is doing her thing, I'm going to pop in and say it basically took 5, 6 different times of them going out to the house to find all of the evidence that nobody looked for really and or wasn't there on the day of. I have trouble with that. I really, really do. Okay. I'm going to find my timestamp. No, I'm going to swoop and then I'm going to find my timestamp. Timestamp first, then swoop, and then we will get into the messages and we're just going to dive into the messages. And I'm starting with direct because at least they got out in front of it. Yeah, swoop first, Aurora, swoop first. So at least they got out in front of these text messages. But, and I don't know if Mandy is messing with her camera or what. Give me, I am going to go in and take a look and we're going to get our timestamp. Okay. We had a moment. We had a moment of some technical difficulties. But we figured it out. We're all good. We also readjusted our light and my camera lost me and found me again. So,
It's just one of those days,
This is one of those moments where as an audience, you're like, hey, you didn't have to deal with all of that live, so yay. Except it was a pause, and that means that I don't know if I swooped or not.
You did.
I did. I did.
You
swoop.
had just
Okay.
swooped. Yeah.
So we are swooped into Trooper Proctor, and if you, yeah. So we are heading into Trooper Proctor and the text messages, and I jumped right ahead to the first round of texts, and we're going to see how far we get. He is at 1.25 speed. We may have to slow him down to normal speed. I've heard these twice now, and the rage. I am the clue meme. The flames
Flames.
inside of my face.
Yes.
So yeah.
Conversation details. I'm sorry, may I approach?
Yes.
That is the face of a man who doesn't say his own words out loud in a court.
Okay.
That is
You
the
see what I was
facial
talking about now?
version
I
of
do,
oh
sir.
shit.
And from that area labeled conversation details, there's a first message sent, date, and time, and a last message sent, date, and time, correct?
Yes.
What is the first message sent, date, and time?
It's 10/18 of 2021 at 8:48 a.m. The last message sent is 8:31, 2022 at 11:19 p.m.
And is there also within that conversation details an indication as far as the number of messages over that time frame within this communication?
There is.
And what does it list for number of messages?
It's 38,707.
It's fair to say the packet that you have before you does not contain.
I don't sorry. I know it's a group chat. I understand it's a group chat. I thought I texted a lot, and then this man got on the stand. I mean, I've never seen a Cellbrite extraction of my phone over the course of a year, so
Fair.
I have no real idea. It just seems like even in a group chat, that's a lot.
That's too many. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one, because that happened, and I was like, am I the only one that finds that number weirdly high?
No, you're not.
So,
You're not.
points for my pause face.
Yes. Well done.
Points for my
See, again,
pause
that's the.
In all 38,707 messages, correct?
That's correct.
I
The
hate
first
that
message
question.
that you had, I believe, alluded to in reference to the first one.
He's looking at 5 pages. Of course, it's not all in there. I'm sure it's a court thing. I'm sure he has to say that. I'm sure
Yes.
there's a requirement. It's still one of those annoying law questions that I don't.
When listed within this communication, what date and time is that?
That was January 29th, 2022 at 10:36 p.m.
And who is that message from?
My friend who lives in Tennessee.
And what, if anything, did he send to the group?
I need to brandish a gun more often.
And if you know, what is that in reference to?
He just recently moved to Tennessee, and he was kind of, I think, making a joke as kind of the lifestyle down there where guns are more prominent or more common to be carried around there. So I interpreted that as a joke in that nature.
And the next message, sir, from that same page, 2527.
The next one is it's bold.
And is there a name associated with that number that's in these?
No,
Do you know who that person is?
I don't.
And the next message, sir, from 10:52 p.m.
Chip, name of that BPD cop.
And Chip, who is that referring to, sir?
That is one of my nicknames I've had since maybe high school.
So a nickname that would be familiar amongst these group of friends in particular.
Yes.
And
I have questions about your nickname, sir.
this time period when these text messages begin, sometime after 10:30 or 10:50 p.m. on January 29th, where are you and what are you doing in reference around that time period?
At this point in time, on the 29th, I'm home.
And that last text message, do you respond to that at approximately 10:53 p.m.?
Yes.
And what was your response?
John O'Keefe.
And the next message down from there, also at 10:53 p.m.
Yes. He took custody of his sister's kids.
That's your response. There's another response above that. Is that correct?
I see your face. So John O'Keefe and Biggin. Let me explain because I don't
No, there's too much. Let me sum up. No, yes.
recall if I have explained this. So the victim, John O'Keefe, who's also a police officer, by the way, who nobody from the Boston Police Department ever mentions. I have so many questions about that. Officer John O'Keefe, his sister died a few years back from, I think it was a brain tumor. I would not quote me on that. It was like 1,004 years ago, it seems. But she died of a brain tumor. I can't remember if it was 2 weeks or 2 months after that. Her husband passed away suddenly of a heart attack,
Oh,
leaving behind two small children
okay.
who have already been through enough and
Yeah.
are ultimately the victims of this entire debacle.
Yes.
They, John O'Keefe took them in and became their legal guardian and was their legal guardian until he died on the front lawn of a Boston police officer. And now we're in trial to figure out if it was Karen that hit him or if she's acquitted and there's other questions involving his death. So yeah, those kids have been through 3 lifetimes of trauma before they are all legal adults. So, and they testified in the trial as well. Luckily, there were motions that went in, so their testimony is between them and the jury and the attorneys, and that's it.
Okay.
There was no audio, no video. It is not online. If anybody has anything online, it needs to come down like yesterday. Because no, we're not doing that.
They've been through enough.
So that's his comment about
Okay.
he took over his sister's kids. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Hit the button, Aurora. Hit the button.
You got
Yes.
this.
What does that say?
How old?
And you respond as far as he took custody of his sister's kids, correct?
Correct.
Skipping down a couple, do you see an entry at 10:53:49 p.m.?
Yes.
And that's from a 617 number, is that correct?
Correct.
And what is the response there?
Oh man, that's rough.
And following that, do you respond to the earlier query as far as age?
I do.
And what did you say?
Mid 40s.
Now, the next message below that, as far as indication of mid 40s, what is that?
His age.
No, I understand that. I'm sorry. The next message underneath that, sir.
I'm sorry. It's a Facebook link.
And you recall what that Facebook link is to?
It's to John O'Keefe.
And is that something you sent or one of your friends sent?
One of my friends sent.
And the next message below, turning to now page 2529 at the top there, what is the next message that's sent?
What's that? Don't have the book anymore.
And as far as the book, what did you understand that to be?
Make the approach.
Sure.
We're gonna zoom. Zoom. Come on. Oh wait, is this the break? Yes, this is the break. Hang on, Aurora. Do you remember this? Yes, we do. Hang on.
If anything, were you saying, or what was the purpose of that text in regard to the homeowner?
I was just letting him know that essentially Mr. O'Keefe is a Boston cop and the homeowner was a Boston cop as well.
Oh, no. We need to back up. Back up.
Within that same packet to 2532. And there's a message there sent at 10:56 p.m. Is that correct?
Yes.
And who's that from?
A friend who lives in Tennessee.
And what does he say in that text?
I'm sure the owner of the house will receive some shit.
And you respond at 10:56 as well as 10:57. Is that correct?
Correct.
And what is it that you respond?
My first response was nope. Homeowner is a Boston cop too.
Now, if you just hear that, what's your reaction? Oh, they're going to get some blowback. Nope. Owner of the house is a Boston cop too.
That does not sound good. That sounds like we protect our own.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm not crazy. That's what I thought.
And what, if anything, were you saying, or what was the purpose of that text in regard to the homeowner?
I was just letting him know that essentially Mr. O'Keefe is a Boston cop and the homeowner was a Boston cop as well.
Now, if I could turn your attention to
No one
2533.
believes you, sir. It's a stretch.
And top of the page, sir, if you could read through that page as far as who's texting and what are they saying.
Again, for my friend from Tennessee and myself, I hope not, but I can't see it. I responded with, she waffled him. I looked at his body at the hospital. He was banged up.
Now, as far as the next text from a 781 number,
Mhm.
What does that say?
Did he get beat up?
And responding to that, is that correct?
I did.
The objection is sustained as to form.
What, if any, response did you provide to that?
Nope.
Objection. The objection was to the former question and answer.
I'll strike it.
Now, turning your attention to 2534. And from this page, sir, if you could again just read through as far as indicating to the jury who's speaking and what is being said.
His facial reactions.
From the start of the first text. So the owner of the house.
Yes.
So the owner of the house was a woman cop that beat him. That's what I initially thought after talking to Can paramedic. Then I saw the guy.
So your first thought was not that a car hit him, but that he got beat up. Just saying.
And those last two are your responses, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, the following text messages are from your friend, is that correct?
Yes.
What do they say?
Bear, let's focus. What does she waffle to mean? What's the story? I responded, she hit him with her car.
And the she that you're referring to there, who is that?
Miss Reed.
Page and just indicate to the jury. Your attention to the next page, 2535. Again, if you could start at the top of the page and read through that page and just indicate to the jury who is talking and what is being said.
Okay. My friend in Tennessee states, okay, that's fucked up. I respond, intentional or not. Then another response, gotcha. He was frozen in the driveway and she didn't see him, question mark. That's another animal we won't be able to prove.
He's talking with his friends
Yes.
about the evidence in the case.
Details of the case. Yeah.
That include, oh, that's yet another thing we won't be able to prove.
Yeah, that,
And when I respond, they arrived at the house together, gone to an argument.
I think we'll speak out loud or out of turn.
If the objection's overruled.
Your Honor,
But
if I could say this, there needs to be an identifier of who's.
I understand what you think the mix-up is. So, Mr. Lally, go back.
Thank you.
Sir, if you could please, again, start at the top of the page and just indicate.
No, just after the gotcha, he was frozen in the driveway, correct, Mr. Jackson?
That's correct, Your Honor. Thank you.
I respond, that's another animal we won't be able to prove. I follow that up. They arrived at the house together, got into an argument. She was driving and left. 781 number responds with, what's the name of the Canton cop living in Canton? The other one involved.
And how do you respond to that, sir?
There's several other messages before I issue a response.
Objection again. Bottom of the page.
So it's not an objection, but Mr. Lally, why don't you point him?
So, sir, at the bottom of page 2535, you have a response, is that correct?
Correct.
And what is that response?
They arrived at the house together, got into an argument. She was driving and left.
Objection.
So it's going to be a matter you can address on cross.
There has to be some accuracy. The reading.
So I understand. So, Mr. Lally, why don't you go point for your witness?
Mayor Proctor.
Yes.
We're going to zoom past that part. Get him to where he's.
Okay. It's a HTML link, whiteout /Proctor iCloud /group chat Feb 2022. So you point out.
This person found a straw after a blizzard. This person.
This person, yes.
This person. This person. Just checking the facts.
You
As
mean
we
the
understand.
one who is a state trooper who is also under federal investigation, which is why
And
he's
who is befuddled by reading. I just don't.
I mean, to be fair, I've worked with a bunch of story time. I'm gonna swoop. We're gonna have story time for a second.
Oh.
We're gonna have story time for a second. So our security team back at our first college was cool. But then I went and I worked at my next college when I went to community college around here. I worked security there. Now that security crew did not work 24 hours like our old crew. And they were all in the criminal justice program preparing to go to the police academy when they graduated.
Yeah, okay.
Amongst the things that they used to frequently do, I mean, they could very well work with these guys right now. It would not surprise me in any way, shape, or form, given the level that we've seen. They refused to work in the office for a whole lot of it because that was women's work.
Oh, God.
I did. My boss loved me and thought that I was correct because every time they came in with, we're big, tough dudes, I had a more dramatic story from when you and I worked security together, where my reaction was like, yeah, and I think my personal favorite was when they the uniforms that we had there had badges on them, but they said security. But for a lot of folks, they just see the badge and they think police, right? So they basically pretended to be a police officer to a police officer who was not on duty once. That went over about as well as you would expect it did.
Yeah.
So yes, this is bringing up all of those lovely memories of. I will say, because my boss loved me, he promoted me above all of their ranks. I can't remember the ranks now, but he did promote me above all of their ranks so that we then cycled them through. So instead of writing dumb tickets every day on the campus property, they would have to alphabetize things. And I can tell you, Mandy, not a single one of them knew their alphabet well enough to do that.
I believe
Not one.
that.
Not
I believe that 100%. That's crazy.
So, okay, I will swoop again, and that's the end of story time for this evening. We'll go back to the man who's having a hard time reading. So all of that is because Trooper Proctor is having a hard time reading, and yup. Oh,
Yeah.
I almost timed that right. Okay, I didn't, but I almost did. I came really close. Did a little.
Can I see what you have for a second, please?
Out on
Yes,
the
sure.
yard. Except I didn't zoom fast enough.
Mr. Lally, it's on there. Why don't you go show your witness? Why don't you just read it, Mr. Lally, and tell us who you attribute it to?
She's done.
So, sir, what I'm asking you about is the bottom of page 2535.
Can't blame her.
Excuse me, 2535. You indicated 15th, correct?
Correct.
What did you mean by that?
That Miss Rita struck Mr. O'Keefe with her vehicle.
Now, sir, if I could direct your attention to page 2537.
There was a hot mic moment in there. I'm going to have to go back and listen again.
Now, do you see a response toward the bottom of the page from yourself, January 29, 2022 at 11:04 p.m.?
Yes.
And can you read that response for the jury?
Yeah, but there will be some serious charges brought on the girl.
And what did you mean?
That's the day
Charges.
he was declared dead. there will be some serious charges brought on the girl. He doesn't actually know what happened yet.
By that.
That
Sorry.
throughout the course of the day, we had compelling evidence that Miss Reed struck Mr. O'Keefe with her vehicle.
And you have 2 responses from friends, same friends at the bottom of that page, 2537. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And what are those responses?
Keep your voice up loud, please. Trooper Proctor, jurors can't hear you.
Yes, Your Honor. Number ending in 5051. Got to be. I can only imagine what internal affairs of the BPD are trying to get out there. And the second response, same number. She hot at least.
This is where it takes a turn.
Oh no. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good times. Noodle salad.
And turning your attention to the next page, 2538, at the top, if you could just read a series of responses from yourself, correct?
Yes, sir.
Read from those, sir.
Yep. So these came from me. From all accounts, he didn't do anything wrong. She's a whack job. CUNT.
Objection.
So don't spell it. You have to. So these are your words, Trooper Proctor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead and say them.
Cunt. Yes, she's a babe. Weird Fall River accent, though. No ass.
And sir, what is it that you were referring to there, or why would you text that?
These were, from all accounts, he didn't do anything wrong. Is talking about the homeowner, Mr. Albert.
No, you don't get to explain yourself on my show right now because no. Nope. I'm going to skip over that.
What was the one about accent? I totally couldn't hear it.
A weird
something accent.
Weird Fall River accent.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Which
I was like, that was the one that I didn't hear, a terrible word in. So I really wished I had actually heard it correctly.
I'm also sitting here being like, sir, I realize you're not used to being the one with the accent, but to the internet, you're the one with the accent.
Every time he's a car, I'm like, charges. I can't. It's
yep.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some.
Makes me think of my relatives.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I'm gonna give him 5 seconds and see if I'm.
Key stuff. The rest of the unprofessional and regrettable comments are something I'm not proud of, and I shouldn't have wrote in a private or any type of setting.
Sir, you're a state trooper. You know this is going to end up in court.
You should have no expectation of privacy. You're performing a public office pretty much at all times. There is no chance that you should believe that you have privacy.
Nope.
The number of times that all of your devices, your communications are going to be subpoenaed. I mean, if this is the first time this has happened to you, congrats, I guess. But yeah, no. I mean, that's, again, raised by lawyers, surrounded my entire life, my young life, by people who worked in the criminal justice system. And that's where I developed my whole, I do not send things over devices that I do not want to be discoverable. You just don't do that, because it doesn't matter what you think your level of encryption is, your ability to delete them is, they can be found. Somebody will find them and you'll be in trouble.
You could.
And you won't be able to spell out, apparently, in court, the nastiest things that you said. Apparently, that does not do the trick.
Exactly. You never know when you're just out at a restaurant and the next thing that is happening is the FBI is subpoenaing your phone because of something that is happening at the other end of I mean, you just never know.
Particularly as an officer of the law, you should know
A group chat?
All of your devices are likely to get called into evidence.
I work for a law firm. I do not come home and discuss clients or anything like that. I mean, I don't deal with them for the most part, but I don't discuss names and things like that. Why? Why? Because I work for a law firm and I'm on the internet. Do you know how quickly it would be if I messed that up? I would lose my job so fast my head would spin.
Yeah.
I don't
Sorry.
group chat.
When I love the careful reference to the nasty comments is unprofessional, and it's like this entire text string is unprofessional. We jumped off the unprofessional diving board the moment you started reading. Like, there was no like, oh yes, this is a totally normal thing for a state trooper to be texting to his buddies who aren't also state troopers. 100%. Yes, bring it.
Oh man, crappy thing happened today. So, like, one Boston cop ended up in another Boston cop's lawn. The most sensical thing out of that text thread was his friend going, "Oh, the owners of that house are gonna get some shit."
Yep. No, they're a cop too. We got them. So anyway.
And we take a deep breath, ladies and gentlemen. Deep breath in. Rage. Sorry.
All I could think was CUNT. That was all I could think.
We shall see you next Tuesday. No.
Indeed.
We're and this is before he starts making fun of her Crohn's disease. Uh-huh. This is before he starts making fun of her Crohn's disease.
Sir, at some point, if I could turn your attention to page 2540.
Zoom.
There's a photograph that's shared within this text communication. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And does it indicate who shared that photograph? From the prior page, possible.
Did you do it? Was he here?
The number ending in 5051.
Oh.
And who is depicted in that photograph that was shared within the group text?
It's Miss Reed being escorted out of the State Police Milton Barracks.
And these are all from February 1st of 2022, around that time frame. Is that correct?
Yes.
So we also sent them all a picture of her after the whole no ass and stuff.
Was it
fucked.
him? Because he said it like it was somebody else's number.
I think it was him. Yeah.
Now, sir, if I could direct you to page 2543.
Was it him?
1st of 2022, around that time frame. Is that correct?
Right.
And these are all from February 1st of 2022, around that time frame. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, sir, if I could direct you to page 2543. And sir, if I could direct you to the top of the page and ask you to read through that page, indicating who's speaking and what content of those communications are.
Okay. Number ending in 4146. Question is that chick a smoke? Again, 4146 question mark. I respond EH. I respond again, nutbag, as Chief would say. I also respond with she's got a leaky balloon knot, leaks poo.
And what, if anything, is that in reference to?
Again, to Ms. Reed's some medical conditions there. Again, unprofessional comments I should not have made, and that I'm not proud of.
Everything.
I call bullshit. I call bullshit on the not proud of them. What? I didn't hear you, Mandy.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just processing. I'm processing.
Processing? Mm-hmm. Yep.
Processing.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
As far as attitudes expressed within these text messages and other text messages. What, if any, impact did that have as far as your investigation was concerned regarding this?
These juvenile, unprofessional comments have zero impact on the facts and the evidence and the integrity of this investigation. They said these are unprofessional comments, but they absolutely do not detract from the integrity of the investigation or the facts and evidence of it.
That's impossible, my friend.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Thank you for your
Speaking
first
of
reaction.
speaking of leaking poo, seems to me that your mouth is doing that this whole time. Thank you for playing. Ah!
Now do you understand why every attorney on the internet lost their minds at this point in time yesterday afternoon?
Yes. And why wasn't the question, if you're that unprofessional, that regularly, over that long a period of time, how can we expect that anything you have done has been professional? Like, why would you leave it open-ended? What impact has that had on this? Of course he's gonna say none. Oh no, you're right. My bad. Charges dropped. Like, that's not gonna happen. So anyway, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer.
None of it. We're just law adjacent.
Yes.
We
Perhaps that
are,
was absolutely the right approach for someone who does not have the dramatic flair that I live my life with. But for me, it was like, that's your question. Really?
we are the kind of people that would be like fine getting summoned for jury duty, and then we would get there, and in voir dire, they would get to our backgrounds, and
Yeah.
we would be yeeted faster than the attorneys. We would be with the attorneys being yeeted
Yes.
from the jury pool.
I'm sorry. What? Your whole family? Yes.
And in my
Like
case,
your
I started
whole
with
family.
where?
Yes. Yeah.
You watch what? Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Let us skip ahead to, we could go on and on. But you know what I would like to do before we end for a little bit? Let us skip ahead to cross
Yes.
so that we can get a little bit of cross in. Are we there? Are we there? I think we are there. Okay. Oh,
Super Proctor.
back up. Man, technology. Okay. So let's have a little bit of cross-examination, and we will find a good spot in cross-examination to wrap up, because I will be honest with you, as I tried to find timestamps for Proctor, I was like, timestamps? You want me to write this? It's all bad. Everything that comes out of his face is I wasn't, and I will say the defense said that we were going to see some nasty text messages. They undersold this. They undersold this. Do you know how many times a good attorney will undersell something? Pretty much never in the short time I have watched trials. They don't undersell. They undersold it, and I still can't process that. So, while we have the happy little circle there, let me do these. Let me do this. Oh, I'm sorry, Judge. That was an unfortunate pause face. Let us dive into cross-examination for a little bit.
All right. All right, Mr. Jackson, go right ahead.
Super Proctor, in the summer of 20.
Hang on. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to swoop like a good YouTuber so that I can mark it if I can find my swoop. There. I can at least pretend to be a good YouTuber from time to time. Let's try that again.
All right, Mr. Jackson, go right ahead.
Thank you. Trooper Proctor, in the summer of 2022, August 17th specifically, you were sitting at your desk, presumably alone at your office, at about 10 p.m. at night, going through my client's personal cell phone, correct?
Yes, sir.
As a matter of fact, you were sitting there texting with your friends and colleagues at Massachusetts State Police about you going through her personal cell phone. Is that right?
Correct, sir.
And that included Trooper DeChico, is that right?
DeChico, yes, sir.
Trooper Fanning, Trooper Butnick, Trooper Moore, and Trooper Kutskowski.
Kakowski.
Tell me that again.
Kakowski.
Kukowski.
Yes, sir.
All right, all the consonants are silent. Fair enough. Trooper Fanning and Trooper Butnick are your supervisors.
Yes.
All the consonants are silent.
All the consonants are silent. Yep, got it. Okay. So just their name
And you
was
were
black.
bragging to all 5 of them that you were going through Karen Reed's cell phone about 9:45 at night.
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Is that right?
No, I wasn't bragging.
Oh yeah, one of the things that we zoomed past was him going through her cell phone. It's still unclear to me if he was going through her phone before the search warrant came in, but I think it was after the search warrant came in, but it was still her physical phone, and he was looking. Well, he made a comment to his buddies in that rather unfortunate group chat about not finding any nudes yet.
You know, I don't advocate violence, but I would very much like to take a rolled up newspaper to this person's nose.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
No. No.
Bad cop. I am going to have to, I think I might be bold enough to actually send some of this to Runkle, because you are the only person I've ever encountered who shares Runkle's twisted sense of humor. It's one of the reasons why you and I are friends. But you say it and get it out of your face before I can even come up with it, and I appreciate having people like you in my life. Yes. Yeah, bad cop. Oh my goodness. Okay. Sorry, Alan Jackson. I will let you continue now
Bragging, sir.
for a minute.
How did you refer
A little.
to Ms. Reed in that text exchange where you informed them that you were going through her phone?
I use regrettable language. I said going through his retarded client's phone right now.
You were shown a photograph of my colleague, Mr. Unetti, correct?
Yes.
May I approach?
Yes.
This is sigh worthy of the judge right there.
Same document. Your Honor, I think the court has the copy that I was going to use.
I thought I gave him back to you.
Thanks.
Graph. If I could, I would ask that this document be marked as next in order. Assuming that the witness verifies its authenticity.
So go ahead.
Do you recognize this document?
I do, sir.
Same document that you were shown, copy of the same document that you were shown by Mr. Unetti, correct?
Still Lally.
I've done that twice. Mr. Lally.
Correct.
All right. Is that a true and accurate reflection of the text messages that you were exchanging with Chris Moore, Jeff Kakowski, John Fanning, Vito DeChico, and Yuri Buchanan?
Yes.
I've asked that this be marked.
Okay, any objection?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'll see you outside down there. Have that, please.
All right, let's skip ahead. We don't need to sit here through the sidebar. I forgot the sidebar happened so quickly. Jumping ahead. Talking. There. What the hell the sidebar was.
May I inquire, Your Honor?
Yes.
Trooper Proctor, Trooper DeChico had sent you a photograph of my colleague, Mr. Yannetti, correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, because of a technical issue, I'm not going to display on the television. May I display this hard copy briefly? Sure. Thank you. You see that, gentleman?
I do, sir.
Is that the photograph that you received?
Yes.
Is that what you referred to on direct examination with Mr. Lally about receiving a photograph from of Mr. Yannetti?
Correct.
And then your response was what?
I hate that man. I truly hate that man.
Actually, your response was, I'm going through his retarded client's phone right now, correct?
Yes, after the picture, sir. Yes.
Who's the retarded client?
I was referring to Miss Reed again, unprofessional language.
I'm asking who you were referring to.
Miss
I know
Reed.
you've got an explanation. Who was it you were referring to as retarded?
This is where Alan Jackson gets himself into a little bit of trouble because he's going to make him own that until the judge is like, we get the point.
Understood, counsel. Yeah.
But in the things that we zoomed, because you have not been watching the trial, Mandy, part of the I hate that man, I truly hate that man is because when he was first going through Karen Reed's phone, he came across messages between Karen Reed and Yannetti on January 29th. And he had to send the phone off to the team to have them extract all the attorney-client communications so that they could continue going through the phone. Because now, for some people, I'm going to begin while I say this. For some people, myself included, sort of at the first glance, if you're like, wait, she contacted a defense attorney pretty much as soon as he was declared and the cops showed up.
Yep.
At the front end, it's like, oh, she must be guilty. But the other part of me goes, like everything in this case, that cuts both ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
She knew she was going to be an outsider, and she knew that if he ended up on the lawn of a police officer's house, they weren't necessarily going to be looking anywhere at the owners of the house, so she was going to want a good defense attorney.
Yeah. It really could go either way. There is, it's an odd thing in either direction. But is it because I'm surrounded by, people who are going to make me the bad guy here? Or is it because genuinely I'm worried that my actions have gotten me in trouble?
And I don't know what she does for a living. But she, like everybody she was dating a cop. Her friends were cops.
Yeah.
Due to the unfortunate text messages with another one of these cops when she thought that John was stepping out on her, so she was trying to make him jealous, and it was very, separated. She's clearly has a type, which is cop.
Yeah.
So, like, you and I are the ones going, don't text anything that you wouldn't want to be read in court because of our proximity to attorneys. I feel like proximity to police officers would encourage you to call in attorneys faster than you might otherwise.
Yes. Yes. That's fair. That's fair.
Especially if you know that then that's the buffer between you and the officers. There was one point in here that I wanted. I'm going to play. Where are we at? How are we doing on time?
We're good.
We're good on time. Okay. We're going to play a little bit more of this. Again, I would get better timestamps, but everything out of this man's mouth is poop.
Leaking poop.
Leaking poop. So,
Ironic that he used those words.
well, as we learned earlier in this trial, during the cringiest of cringy text messages, nicknames are organic. And sir, I think you just got yourself one.
Indeed.
At least on this end, I'm trying really hard not to be that person, but it's hard when they're total douche canoe.
Miss Reed.
Karen Reed, the woman sitting to my left.
Yes, sir.
The subject of your investigation as a professional, correct?
Yes, sir.
As an unbiased, objective investigator, the person that you were investigating, you referred to your bosses as retarded, correct?
Again, poor language on my part.
Poor language is one way to put it. Completely offensive is another way to put it, right?
Objection.
I've got to sustain that, Mr. Jackson.
After you referred to my client
I know I'm not allowed to be
as retarded,
that snotty, but still.
then you decided to make a comment about Mr. Yannetti, her lawyer, correct?
Correct.
And what did you say about Mr. Yannetti again?
I hate that man. I truly hate that man.
I hate that man. I truly hate him, correct?
Correct.
You didn't say I dislike him, disagree with him. You said I hate him, correct?
Correct, sir.
That's a visceral response to someone who's just doing a job, correct?
Objection.
Sustained. You can ask it differently.
Sure. Let me ask it this way. Were you upset or annoyed or pissed off that Karen Reed had gotten representation, legal representation, to represent her?
No, not at all. That's her right.
That wasn't the question, sir.
Nope. No.
Not at all. That's her right. Isn't actually answering the question.
No. No, it's not.
I think he was mad that it was Yannetti. Because I think he thought it was going to be easy peasy to lock her up. And that's just my speculation. It's entire speculation, mostly because he gives off a general vibe.
Yeah.
That.
Well, let me ask you this. In August of 2022, you said you absolutely hate it, correct?
I don't know if I use absolutely. Yeah, I didn't use absolutely, sir.
You used truly, correct?
Truly, yes.
How do you feel about it now? Sitting right
Thanks
there.
for
I'm
clarifying
still
that.
care for him now.
I'll let it stand.
I mean, at least
What did you tell your colleagues that you were looking for as you sat at almost 10 p.m. at night on a Wednesday night, August 17th, 2022, looking through Karen Reed's phone?
I didn't tell them I was looking through anything. They knew I was going through Miss Reed's phone. I provided a inappropriate joke as an update. They knew I was going through location data, text messages, Google searches. But like I had mentioned earlier, I had stopped.
Except for Proctor, none of that really professional sounding stuff ended up in your comments to your bosses. Did it?
Again, it was a poor joke.
Is that yes or no?
Did not know.
It did not.
No,
As a
sir.
matter of fact, what did you write after you talked about going through the quote retarded client's phone?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
No nude so far.
No nudes so far, correct?
Correct.
And you said that to your bosses.
Yes, sir.
You were looking for naked photographs of Miss Reed on a Wednesday night as you sat in your office at 9:44 p.m., correct?
No, not correct.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever looked for naked photos of a male suspect that you were investigating?
I don't look for naked photos on anyone's phones.
But you said you were looking for nudes of Miss Reed.
Like I
correct?
said, Mr. Jackson, it was an inappropriate joke.
Sir. Sir, I've known guys like you. I've known guys like you. They cannot stand somebody like they seem to not be able to stand Karen Reed. And if they got their
Yeah.
paws on her phone, they'd go looking for stuff. They would put it under the guise of where did she go? What was she doing? What was But no, he's not. Speculation. I do not know this man. I could be wrong. This is just going from the general creep that gets away with all the creepy kind of vibe that is
Yeah.
just leeching off of him everywhere. He strikes me as the kind of dude that if a female officer says she's uncomfortable with a particular, bikini poster or whatever, he will add 7 more. Oh, I just happen to have the phone in my hand. Let me scroll through. Being on the up and up doesn't seem like his strong suit, I guess is what I'm saying.
No, agreed. Agreed wholeheartedly.
So, I will give him a little bit longer, and then because he sent that to his bosses.
And clearly, nothing came of that comment. Like,
Right.
nobody said, hey, dumbass, I'm your boss. Don't make those stupid jokes to me. So, to me, it's like guilt by association of everybody involved.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Actually, I'm winning pause face tonight.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna give myself serious pats on the back here because your face, sir,
that is well executed right there.
is how we are feeling. Mm-hmm. You're correct. Your face tells us all.
So this
Nailed
is a
it.
citizen. She's a woman. You were supposed to be objectively investigating. Does your text message to your colleagues at Massachusetts State Police reflect an objective investigation of a citizen?
Objection.
You can get part of that question and ask again.
Do you believe that your text messages were reflective of an objective investigator?
Objection.
I'll allow that. Do you believe that, Trooper Proctor?
I believe poor jokes in unprofessional language have no bearing on the integrity and the facts and physical evidence of this case.
It's not that they don't have a bearing on the facts and integrity. It's that they have no place in a professional investigation because it shows bias, right?
Objection.
So I have to sustain that as asked. Go ahead and ask it differently, Mr. Jackson.
You weren't so much as objectively investigating Karen Reed as objectifying her, correct?
Objection.
I'll allow that.
Isn't that right?
Rephrase the question, please.
Good line.
You weren't so much as objectively investigating her as objectifying her in those moments, correct?
Again, Mr. Jackson, it was a poor choice of words and a joke that I should not have texted out. But from the start of the investigation, we didn't know what we had.
And your, Trooper Proctor, your point in saying no nudes so far to your colleagues in Massachusetts State Police was to suggest that you were looking for nudes and you'd update them when you found them, correct?
Incorrect.
Well, let me ask you a question. Did you find any nudes of
Again,
Karen Reed?
I didn't go through the photo, sir.
Did you find any nudes of Karen Reed?
I didn't go through the photo, sir.
You were successful in your quest.
I came across text messages from Miss Reed to another attorney on January 29th, so I had to stop looking through her phone.
So you got sidetracked before you could get to the naked pictures of Miss Reed. Is that what you're saying?
Sustained.
Jackson doesn't care. Jury's heard all of it.
To be clear, when you sent those text messages on that group chat, those text messages included, as we said, or as you said, not one, but two of your supervisors, correct?
Correct.
Were you ever reprimanded for your conduct in sending that text message?
Objection.
Thank you.
So that's sustained. Do we need to go to sidebar based on what you told me earlier?
We do not.
Okay, so,
I'll ask it a different way.
okay.
Did either Trooper Fanning or Trooper Buchanan dress you down in a responsive text message in that text thread for doing something so abhorrent as looking for nudes or referring to nudes of a female suspect or subject of your investigation?
Jack,
Did that ever happen?
where you're going, but
Not that I can recall.
As a matter of fact, in reference to one of the text messages in this same string, your boss, Yuri Buchanan, actually responded to the photo of Mr. Yannetti, didn't he?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
He did, sir.
After you received the photo, that's when you said, I'm, quote, funny, I'm going through his retarded client's phone. Is that right?
Objection.
One more in.
For this, but not too many more.
Sure. Is that correct? It's on the top of page
Yes, sir.
2685.
That's correct.
And your Buchanan liked that comment. Funny, I'm going through his retarded client's phone. Didn't it?
Oh no, we got two.
I see you laughed at an image here, sir. I can't tell if he liked that comment, sir.
May I approach?
Yes.
I don't know if it's just because it's faded or. Yeah, my copy's faded.
Top 2685. You can use my copy if that helps.
All right. Thank you.
What do you see on the top of that page?
Sergeant Mechanic liked it.
Like what?
I'm going through his retarded client's phone, sir.
May I approach?
Yes.
I'll take my copy.
There you go.
He finally. I just realized I've watched this so many times. I just realized it took Alan Jackson that many times to get the witness to repeat
Say
his
the words.
text message out loud.
Yep.
Cheers, Mr. Jackson. Cheers. I don't like some of your clients, but you don't suck at your job.
So your supervisors at Massachusetts State Police not only didn't ride you for making comments like this, he encouraged it.
Objection.
Sustained.
Trooper Proctor, this is your direct chain of command. Is that right? You're a Buchanan.
Yes, sir.
Did you believe that your conduct was a misuse of your authority and power as you were going through her phone in August of 2022?
Objection.
Allow it.
No, I had a warrant signed by a district clerk, Stoughton district clerk, to go through Miss Reed's phone. I don't think it was an abuse of power. I had every right to go through that phone.
Did the warrant say anything about looking for nudes of my client?
Objection.
Did it
No,
say anything about that?
Your Honor.
Okay, next question.
So that would be an abuse of the power that was given to you by the court, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Trooper Proctor, you'd agree that the hallmark of any good investigation, as you've been taught and others in Massachusetts State Police have been taught, is that the investigation and the investigator have to be fair. They have to be impartial. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Meaning that the investigation has to be free of conflicts, right?
Yes, sir.
The investigator has to be free of conflicts, right?
Yes,
The investigation has to be free of bias. Is that right?
correct.
You can't be biased against the person that you're investigating. That would compromise the entire thing, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Basically, you follow the evidence. You're supposed to follow the evidence wherever it takes you, right?
Correct.
Good or bad, top to bottom, just follow the evidence and report it back. That's how an investigation is supposed to be run, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And these are things that you learn early on at Massachusetts State Police Academy and then in your detective training. Isn't that right?
It is.
Literally, it's part of an oath that you took at the academy that you will, quote, faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all of the duties incumbent on you as a Massachusetts State Police trooper, right?
Yes, sir.
You swore that oath.
I did.
When you start an investigation, everybody in that investigation should be treated exactly the same. Don't you believe that's true?
Correct.
Everybody, have you ever heard the phrase, everybody's a suspect until they're not, right?
Objection.
Sustained.
It's especially important early in an investigation before all of the facts are known that the investigator is not compromised by bias, prejudice, right?
Correct.
Most important early in the investigation, because that's when the most things are up in the air. There's the cloud, the fog of not knowing exactly what the truth is, right?
Objection.
Sustained.
In other words, Trooper Proctor, you don't get to pick a suspect and then try to find evidence to support your choice, right?
Correct.
But in this case, it's exactly what you did, isn't it?
Absolutely not.
All right, Mr. Jackson, why don't we end for today?
This is
Okay.
as good a place as any. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Why? Because this judge is better at cliffhangers than anybody who ever worked on Shondaland or a soap opera. Or I don't know how she does it. She is, she's the queen of cliffhangers. She really is. You get to the end of the
certainly
day,
seems that way.
and it's like when the entire internet is going, "What's gonna happen next?" She's like, "And we're done."
Nice.
Okay. Maybe it's so she keeps herself interested, so she keeps coming back into court. Because sometimes the days can drag on really long, and she doesn't seem to, love being there. So that catches us up to what we're going to walk into court tomorrow, too.
Nice.
We're picking up with cross-examination. We did it. Ladies and gentlemen, Mandy and I had a 2-hour gap. I'm going to swoop before I go on this. Remember to swoop. You're a streamer. And so anyway, we had a 2-hour window for this show. And
we just made it. Yay!
Don't tell anybody, then I'll never get any help around the house with production stuff. Credit. The reason we are here is because I texted my father, like, in a furious thing. I'm like, Mandy and I are recording. I need you to go hunt for timestamps. Go hunt Proctor text messages bad. Just go. So he helped me out. Mandy, do you understand why I got sucked into this mess? And I can't look away?
I absolutely do. This is insane. I mean, yeah, everything about this is completely insane. Completely and utterly insane.
I have questions because I know people who work in Canton and have like had to testify and stuff in courts in Canton, and I have so many questions for them right now. So many questions. Like, do you know the judge? How small is his courtroom? What was it like? Is she just as snippy there? And like, I have so many questions.
I actually, this judge, compared to some of the trials we've talked about in the not too distant past, this judge is kind of doing it for me. Like, I kind of appreciate this judge.
She's a different judge in motions hearings outside of the presence of the jury. Like, she's great with the jury. She's absolutely great with the jury one-on-one. She explains things like the stipulations of we've all agreed that this is a fact of the case, and we've all agreed that this is fact of the case. When she has to issue the warnings of, this could be considered prejudicial, you're only able to take this testimony to determine facts of the case. Like, we can't convict somebody for being a douche. So you have to have other reasons for convicting them that are fact-based. And so, as you hear this testimony, I'm paraphrasing, being a bitch is not a reason to go to jail.
Isn't it though?
I mean, my brain then immediately jumps to Martha Stewart and goes, well, I mean, but also... But then jail seems to have worked out very well for her. Cameron.
Well, and if that were a reason to go to jail, I would be in jail a lot. So
same. So would I. Bunny, come. There we go.
Yay! Follow the bunny.
Follow the bunny. Thanks, audience. You helped focus my camera back on me. I'm in a silly mood tonight. It was really fun. It's so much fun to have Mandy on the show. Again, I miss you, Mandy. It was nice to talk to you as an actual person, though, earlier this week.
You too. And I have a lot of fun with all of my theatrical endeavors, but I'm also grateful that they are done for a while now, and I can be around a bit more.
Yay. Well, we will be in touch because this trial ain't going nowhere either. No, it's not trial. I swear, I'm gonna put lamb chop just creeping on the next thumbnail. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think I
like
just
it.
put lamb chop creeping? The longer this trial goes on, the more of lamb chop we will see.
Eventually, it's just
Because
like an elbow from.
I can't. And I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, but I know that I can't do a video tomorrow. I'm going to need all of the recaps. I'm getting my nails done tomorrow. And then I think the dog is going to require that I just land
Yeah, some affection and time
on
and
the bed
love and
for a
yeah.
minute. So I'm afraid if I say that we're going to come back on the weekend, that tomorrow my brain will just completely melt while
Well, how
listening
about
to. So I
we'll
don't know.
come back by the weekend?
There we go. There we go. By the weekend, because I don't know what's happening, but I am here for it. And by the time it comes to you here on the Unfiltered Tea, I have listened to the trial while working with Emily D. Baker and then gone, what the actual fuck just happened? And then I watch it with Runkle and Lawyer, because sometimes I need all of those perspectives. Because if you know the personalities, you know the personalities. If you don't know the personalities, go check them all out. So that you can get a sense of where I'm coming from on this. They're all incredibly fair, but they all have the right amount of sass, where sass is appropriate. So by the
Sass
time
is vital. Like it's an important part of just life. It really is.
it really is. So by the time Mandy gets to deal with me, I have filtered all of that, annoyed the ever loving shit out of all of my family and half of my coworkers. And then Mandy gets that version. So then we
I
can
appreciate the filters. I do. I appreciate the
it's the Aurora
the
Brittle water
purified
filter
version.
purifying system. It's by the time we get together, I know where the curse words belong.
I love it.
So yes, by the weekend, but this week has been mm, also with the health things. It's
Yeah.
I have several more doctor's appointments on Thursday, so that's why I'm kind of iffy on when we're gonna do stuff, because Mandy might get a text message on Thursday where I'm like, I'm done with all the poking and prodding. Let's get online and do something. And she might get a text message that day where I'm like, I'm hiding from everything, especially the internet. So
Yeah. Yeah. The internet is not good for one's health most of the time.
no. So I am working on, at some point in my dream world, there will be a schedule, but that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Not happening this week. Not happening
No,
this week.
not this week. So with that, we should say goodnight. We should go off to our lives
Yeah.
and carry on with all sorts of with our actual lives and see the other humans in them, or not, as the case may be, depending on the evening. So pardon me. Oh,
Oof, you okay?
yep.
Did my cough get to you through the screen? It's possible.
Nope.
It's
All of the
wily.
pine trees are currently trying to dust us into
Mm-hmm.
oblivion up here in Maine. So yeah. Okay, before I roll the outro, I am gonna say cheers. We made it. We made it through day one of Proctor. We are caught up.
Woohoo!
So now we can fall behind again. Thank you for joining us. Oh, I didn't say it. Do the YouTube things, pretty please.
Yeah.
Do all the YouTube things. It makes a huge
Happy little
difference.
listen.
And they send me a happy little email when the YouTube things get done. And especially when they get done in certain numbers, I get these happy little like, hey, you're,
A good thing happened. Yay.
Thing happened. So it's like my own personal little confetti thing. So yeah. If you are not a fan, do like your mama told you and just go find something that you are a fan of. Cause yeah, that makes sense. Have a wonderful time, however long the time is. Have a good day. I am going to roll the outro and let my past self do the talking for the current self. Have a good night. Thanks for joining us for another episode of The Unfiltered Tea. Don't forget to hit that like button. If you have a story you want our unfiltered take on, go ahead and drop it in the comments, and we will see you next